Tails!
Ah!
My taxes are due today, and I have no idea how to do them.
You're welcome.
All right, now that we're done, I just gotta put it in the mail, yeah?
Those were your federal taxes. Now we have to do state taxes.
Actually, I think I'm good.
If you don't pay your taxes, the IRS will come after you.
What are they gonna do, catch me? Damn, they caught me. So, what are you in for?
I placed a bunch of gold rings on the ground and didn't send the proper 1099 tax forms to people who picked them up.
You die tonight.
I don't know how else to say this. Sonic Prime is a frustrating experience. First season, loved it. Second season, little dragged out. Third season, a test of patience. You know the drill. Sonic Prime is a 2022 Netflix cartoon set in the multiverse. In Season 3, Nine betrays Sonic and steals the Paradox Prism for himself. He uses this artifact to forge his own utopia, but in the process, he destabilizes the entire multiverse. Sonic and his friends must defeat him or else reality itself will cease to exist. Season 3 is such a disappointment. While I enjoyed the dialogue and the action, it doubles down on previous transgressions. Shadow doesn't get enough screen time, and the padding is beyond ridiculous. And the final battle, I'll get to that soon enough. Season 3 is technically watchable, but the cracks are undeniable. Was this show just one big tax write-off? We'll just have to find out. This is part 3 of my Sonic Prime review. I'm going to assume you've seen the previous parts. By the way, full spoilers ahead. Okay, let's go. The season begins with Nine blocking his friend Sonic on X, formerly known as Twitter. Nine escapes to the Grim Dimension and tinkers with the Paradox Prism, a magic stone that can alter physical reality, so he can play God for all he likes. Nine successfully terraforms his home base. However, the prism begins to destabilize not only itself, but also the entire Shadowverse. Meanwhile, Sonic and Shadow narrowly escape the collapse of Ghost Hill Zone. The Hedgehogs politely ask Nine to not be evil anymore. Nine is like, Sonic, your plan sucked. I wanted to make a dimension where you and I weren't treated as losers. But no, you wanted to restore reality back to its original state. If you got your way, I would cease to exist. You went against my interests, now I'm gonna return the favor. The Hedgehogs get beaten up by Nine's Grim robots. They're supercharged by the Paradox Prism. Each bot is built in the image of Sonic and his friends. Somehow, the Grim bots suffer the same fate as the Egg Forcers. Some cool designs that overstayed their welcome. To give Nine some credit, his bots do have distinct movesets. They have 5 enemy classes compared to the 3 enemy types available to the Chaos Council. But Nine just recycles them without swapping out their powers or giving them new upgrades. Hell, he literally copies and pastes the same 5 designs. On top of that, he resurrects them on 4 separate occasions. In the same damn battle! Bro, that's overkill. At least when the Egg Forcers died, they stayed dead. Having your villain endlessly revive his minions doesn't make him more threatening. He becomes an incompetent doofus who can't think of any better strategy. How can you make 7 cybernetic tails, but can only think of like 6 enemy types? I thought you were a genius. No wonder you didn't survive that long on New York. Meanwhile, our heroes discover why the Paradox Prism is glitching out. It's missing the energy that Sonic inhaled during the first and second seasons. If Nine can extract Sonic's life force, then he can complete his twisted utopia. Sonic is like,
Bro, you crazy. I want to check back with my homies and straighten you out.
Shadow distracts the Grimbots while Sonic gathers his forces. Shadow is then thrown off a cliff. Back in part 2, I explained the writer's mistreatment of Shadow. His interactions with Sonic and Nine were fantastic.
I am the ultimate life form.
Modest, too.
But for some godforsaken reason, he's put on house arrest for large chunks of time.
Stand down, Edgelord. I don't trust one hedgehog, let alone 2.
I understand that the writers didn't want him to overshadow the rest of the cast, but that didn't mean they had to shaft Shadow as hard as they did. On the other hand, the writers never delved into Shadow's backstory in any of these seasons. Despite having all the time to do that, there's some good questions to ask. Is he good friends with Rouge? How did he meet Sonic? What's his reputation with the residents of Green Hill? Quick, say the line.
I am the ultimate life form.
He said it! He said it!
I'm not asking for a full season's worth of backstory, but leaving some breadcrumbs will go a long way for our favorite edgelord. It's a shame because the show got his serious yet cool-headed persona down to a T. Meanwhile, Sonic makes an alliance with the Chaos Council, who are only helping because there won't be any multiverse left to conquer. But that's not all. You thought Season 2 was stretched out? Season 3 takes this padding to an absurd degree. What could have been a satisfying 4-episode conclusion quickly devolved into complete white noise. I'm talking about the climax. Sonic tries to bargain with 9 for the 900th time. Team Sonic then takes on 9's army of Reddit bots. Up to this point, I was tolerating Season 3. The personal beef between 9 and Sonic was a little played out, but the character banter and the action scenes were enough to sustain my interest. Unfortunately, Netflix proves time and time again that we can't always have nice things. This ultimate showdown goes on for 3 episodes. This is where everything falls apart. Team Sonic destroys the robots, 9 revives them. Repeat that 4 more times and it's over. Okay, I might be oversimplifying things. There are twists and turns within that time frame, but on a macro level, it's pure monotony. Secondly, the showrunners used the most boring environment imaginable. The Grim is a flat desert locked inside 9's energy dome. It has his control tower, these hexagonal pillars, and the occasional ditch. Most battles are set on flat terrain or against a generic blue backdrop. I didn't mind the Grim before because we only saw it a few minutes at a time, but we faced one major issue. The battlefield doesn't evolve over the course of this finale. How about this? You know, in the Amazing Digital Circus, some of the rooms will go completely haywire because it was glitching out? Kinda like how Ghost Hill went down earlier in the season. This ties directly into my biggest gripe. The stunt directors are running out of steam. Throughout this retrospective, I've made it no secret that I love the fight choreography. It's dynamic, well animated, and perfectly captures Sonic's crazy acrobatics. Yet, the animators got complacent during the climax. Season 3 introduces 9's ability to play God. He manipulates the gravity in New York and alters the weather in No Place. Those are some creative set pieces. For some reason, he never does anything that ambitious ever again. At best, he brainstorms a hover tank based on Big the Cat. In previous episodes, the animators crafted so many unique scenarios. I can think of a few. Sonic chases Jungle Amy in the dark depths of Bozcage Maze. Sonic and Shadow defend 9 against the Eggman at Ghost Hill. And in Season 3, the same Hedgehog's getting pummeled by the Grimbots. Are you noticing a pattern? Each situation had different opponents, environmental factors, and the occasional gimmick. Even when the writing wasn't particularly strong, the set pieces were able to carry the story. The final battle drops the ball in this regard.
Team Sonic punches a bunch of robots. The robots hit harder. Rinse and repeat.
Despite how well shot they are, the individual set pieces are less special and tend to blend together. This is somewhat remedied at the end of the battle. Eventually, Sonic unlocks his new Prism ability, the power to build energy hex platforms. It's a cool gimmick, but god, it's too little too late by then. You know, Sonic, it would have been really useful to see you develop the power in, I don't know, Season 2? Seriously, you charge him with literal plot armor, I mean paradox armor, and you don't have him do anything besides universe hopping? Imagine him bringing chunks from one world to another for a fight. Do I entirely despise the final battle? No. I enjoyed all the little moments between the 3 Amy variants, and all the Big the Cat doppelgangers got their time to shine, but it did not need to last 3 freaking episodes. The stunt work, which is usually amazing, wasn't up to snuff this time. Meanwhile, Sonic digs up Shadow from a ditch and recruits him for battle. Sonic finally convinces 9 to recognize the error of his ways. It's funny that it took Sonic like 6 tries to pass his charisma check, but hey, he got a lucky dice roll. Then, the Chaos Council pull a fast one and lunge for the Prism. To no one's surprise, they got their asses handed to them. The whole Eggman split into 5 different personalities thing was cool at first. They never evolved past their single attributes. They got annoying, fast. I'm just glad they got yeeted so quickly. 9 transfers Sonic's energy into the Paradox Prism. Sonic teeters on the verge of death, but restores the multiverse and its dimensions back to normal. Whoa. I thought fixing the prism would instantly reset the Shadowverse. Why do 9 and the other variants still exist? Do they vanish once Sonic re-enters his Prime dimension? Too bad those questions were tossed straight out of the writer's room. The team then opens a wormhole back to Green Hill Zone. Shadow escorts his blue buddy like no tomorrow. I have to admit, this is a pretty epic gamer moment. The Hedgehogs return to the prism battle from episode 1. Shadow swoops in with his Chaos Emerald and teleports the prism away from Eggman's forces. I like to imagine that Shadow crossed the border and gave the stone to his Latina girlfriend.
Hey, Shadow, why do you want to go to Mexico so bad? I just love Latinas, Sonic. What? Adios, amigo. Whoa, there he goes. All the way across the border. Adios!
Eggman goes,
What kind of chili sauce is Sonic smoking? Why is he so chippy with his friends?
Sonic explains he never takes his teammates for granted.
Sorry, Eggman, but when you've got a crew like mine, there's nothing that can stop you.
The next day, the gang celebrates their victory. Oh no! Another shockwave hits Green Hill. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, and Big prepare for battle. Cut to credits. Whew. That ending is abrupt. For starters, the gang's reaction to Sonic's attitude change is cut short. We spent 3 seasons of Sonic learning to be a more empathetic friend. The team admits he's changed for the better, but we don't see this manifest in any significant way. At least in a way that's more than just, oh, he bought us this catering tray off of Grubhub. At least the ending confirms one thing: Big the Cat is an official member of Team Sonic. You know, this show should really be called Big Prime, because it's just a 24 episode redemption arc for Big. Think about it. He starts off as a fisherman, he's kind of a hungry loser in all the dimensions, and then he slowly gains more confidence until the final battle, and his variants save Sonic from deadly fire. I'm so happy he got that promotion. Before we continue, let's analyze the central friendship between Sonic and 9. Back in Season 2, 9 and Sonic had a falling out regarding their use of the Paradox Prism. 9 wanted to play God and create a dimension where he wasn't treated as a degenerate by his world. His insane hubris is what almost shattered the universe. This moral conflict was one of Prime's more bold ideas. In most Sonic cartoons, the Blue Blur had a solid network of friends. They would have their disagreements, but in the end, they remained an effective wrecking crew. Also in those cartoons, Tails is directly Sonic's best friend. Prime bucks this trend by positioning 9 as the main antagonist. Throughout the series, Sonic and 9's development was well done. We got to see how the Blue Blur's empathy healed 9's emotional scars. Their bond was genuine, and I did feel a little sorry when they didn't see eye to eye on fixing the universe. Season 2 did a good job foreshadowing their eventual fallout. His beef with Sonic was so severe, he was willing to overload himself with prism energy even if it killed him. 9 was desperate, wanting to prove he was better off solo.
There is only one me. Time to give Sonic a little push. Grim Troopers, go after the foxes!
No!
5 minutes later.
Ahoy! What? How? There was an explosion to be sure, but 'twas nothing we couldn't fly away from. Mostly.
The boys reconcile with a speech on friends never turning their backs on each other. 9 apologizes for his errors and becomes a good guy again. He's hesitant to extract Sonic's life force for the greater good, but Sonic prioritizes the safety of his friends above his life. And before 9 and Sonic depart, they have like a warm goodbye. It's a fitting end to this feud. Okay, let's wrap this up. Season 3 of Sonic Prime is wasted potential. The cinematography and animation quality are top notch. I also enjoyed the heartfelt resolution between Sonic and 9. Yet, the padding has gotten so ludicrous, it makes the final battle a chore to sit through. Even the fight choreography lost its luster. We've gone through 3 seasons of television. How does Sonic Prime stack up as a full series? Well, it's a good show that stumbled at the finish line. Sonic's character arc from being a reckless fighter to an empathetic friend was effective, and while most of the stunt work is spectacular, the spectacle shouldn't be a substitute for good storytelling. If by some miracle we get a 4th season, I hope the showrunners learn from their mistakes. I don't want Wildbrain or Netflix to scrap all their hard work. Prime looks amazing, especially on a TV budget. If they repurpose their existing assets, keep their animation talent, and improve their writing, the next Sonic cartoon could be an absolute banger. Just saying. That marks the end of my Sonic Prime retrospective. Thanks for sticking around this long. Remember, no hedgehogs were harmed in the making of this video.
Okay, team, we gotta go fast!
God, he is so cringe.